Is there like a still aspect in general when it comes to astrophysics and it's darkest secrets, let's say, that you are very fascinated by and completely mind blown? Like, is there an aspect that you still approach more as a outsider rather than a professional?
Yeah, absolutely. Because the day job is filled with just work,
Yeah,
and where you just you're worried about the details of this survey. You're trying to apply this correction factor. You're trying to create just the right statistical analysis. You're trying to find important relationships. You're trying, et cetera, et cetera, et
yeah.
cetera. And so the day job is just filled with work. But when I pause the day job, and I put the pencil down, I
Mhm.
scooch the laptop back, I step away from the chalkboard, and when I realize and take a breath and really digest what I am grappling with here, what my
Mhm.
colleagues are writing about. When I read a new paper, like what this is about, we're talking about structures that are 100 million light years across. We're talking about structures that took 13 billion years to arise. We're talking about the entire fate of the universe. And the fact that we can actually wrestle with these concepts, we can actually dig in, that we have the tools to do it. We have the telescopes to scan deep into the early history of the universe. We have the computational complexity that we can actually simulate the evolution of the universe at large scales, that I can write down an equation on the chalkboard and we can talk about these universal properties of voids. And I'm talking about objects that are beyond my imagination in both space and time. I can't hold the concept of a cosmic void or the cosmic web, the large scale structure of the universe. I can't hold it in my mind. I can look at a picture of it. I can write down an equation that describes it, but I can't actually understand at a
Yeah.
fundamental level the enormity. And when that strikes me, when those moments strike me, I relish it, because that's what gets me excited. Like, wow, I'm actually studying the universe, and not many people get to say that.
Yeah, that's so amazing. That's so amazing indeed. Like, let's say you could, you could research or find the secret of some of the, most essential, undiscoverable principles of the universe. What would it be for you? Like, what would you like to understand or see or grasp your mind on?
Yes, and there are all sorts of amazing cosmological questions that all connect together. So, for example, 95% of the universe is of a form unknown to
Mhm.
us.
Wow.
We have learned over the past few decades that the vast majority of the universe, 95% of the universe, is made of one of two things, either dark matter or dark energy.
Wow.
Both of these substances, we do not understand what they are. We can see the effects these substances are having on the rest of the universe, but we don't know what the identities of these substances are. And so that's a major burning question. It turns out all these centuries of effort in the field of physics, and we've uncovered fundamental forces in the zoo of subatomic particles. Everything we know and we understand amounts to less than 5% of the cosmos, which is frustrating, I'll admit, but also exciting, because it means, our horizons are just beginning to open up. And related to those questions are the questions about the very earliest moments of the Big Bang.
Mhm.
We can push our theories back to the first few seconds of the history of the universe, and we've had great success in that. And that's amazing that we can do that. Like, we shouldn't even be able to do that, but somehow
Mhm.
we're able to. And but the earliest moments of the universe are still beyond our grasp. They're still beyond our understanding. We hope that by understanding dark matter and dark energy, we might be able to leverage that to get some handle on the earliest moments of the universe, and vice versa.
Mhm.
But right now, these areas of our universe, the earliest moment, the largest scales, are beyond our current ability to reckon or understand, which is just it's beautiful. It's exciting. And yeah, it's frustrating, but also it helps remind me that whatever advances I make, whatever collaborations I work in, whatever we learn, we are one part in a chain of a continuous series of scientific understanding, that the final answers won't come with me and my generation. That's not how it works, because every time you answer a question, you'll get a dozen more to replace it. And so we're part of this continuous chain of unfolding, this continuous progression of expansion of our knowledge and how we learn more about the universe. And that part is very beautiful and humbling to me, that there are centuries behind me that have led to our current present understanding. And then I get to participate in it. I get to add to that tower of intellect. And then there are hopefully centuries after me that will take what I've learned, what my colleagues have learned, and apply that to new understanding of the universe.
That's such a good mental approach to this process, because, I've always, I also wanted to ask you, like, because for me, it's very frustrating that I know I wouldn't be able to understand the big questions that I'm interested in. This genuinely frustrates me. And I'm very curious to hear, your outlook on that, because it's an emotion that is very specific. And I'm curious how people battle with it, especially when you've dedicated such a big portion of your life to it.
Yeah. And it's to realize that you are one part in a continuous series, that our experience of this generation of scientists, we are one chapter in a much larger story. And that there is a legacy there, not in having the final answer, but in adding to the wealth of human knowledge, in contributing to that there is a legacy there, that hopefully my papers will be read and the papers of my colleagues will be read and used. And even if I'm not cited in 100 years or even 50 years or even right now, that's okay, because as long as someone takes something that I was able to contribute, learns from it, and then builds from there, that is part of the larger story. And being a part of that story is a true privilege and a true honor and a true joy.
Amazing. Yeah, that's such a beautiful way to look onto it, I guess.